for the national anthem. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, to welcome His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India, with a flower bouquet. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, to welcome Shri Muttamashetti Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister for Tourism, Culture and Youth Advancement, Government of Andhra Pradesh, with a flower bouquet. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, to deliver welcome address of today's program.
Thank you, Amrita. Sabhaya Namaha. His Excellency, the Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, distinguished guests, Shri Avanti Srinivas ji, Honorable Minister for Tourism, Government of AP, our beloved MLA, Shri Adip Raj ji, ZB Chairman, Srimati Subhadra Garu, members of ZPTC, MPTC, MPP, and all other local body representatives, learned faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, students, press, electronic media, a pleasant good morning to all. Damodaram Sanjeevaya National University heartily welcomes you to the inaugural of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations being organized at this university. It is my proud privilege to welcome the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, to the celebrations as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. I am sure the day will go down in the history of this university as a day to reckon with. The future of a nation is bright only when it remains connected to its past movement. We all know that India has a rich historical consciousness and an immeasurable store of cultural heritage that serves as a beacon light to generations of Indians. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, inaugurated Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav program to commemorate 75 years of independence of progressive India and its glorious past, culture and achievements by flagging off with Padayatra from Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, Gujarat on 12th March 2021, which will be completed on 15th of August 2023. The Prime Minister rightly coined the phrase Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which means freedom, divinity and a spirit of festivity. Azadi is the Sanskrit word for independence. Amrit is the Sanskrit word for divine nectar. And Mahotsav is the Sanskrit word for festival. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is meant to generate an elixir of energy, spirit of independence and Atmanirbharta. Therefore, this Mahotsav is a festival of awakening of national spirit, global peace and development. The objective of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations is to recall the sacrifices of martyrs who laid down their lives for the freedom of the country. The focus of the Mahotsav is to fill the youth of the country with new energy and motivation by strengthening the roots of largest democracy in the world with due respect to the Constitution of India. The Mahotsav is a humble attempt to remind ourselves of the legacy of the brave, selfless, and committed heroes who fought for our today. The freedom struggle was wrought with hardships and struggles offered by literate and illiterate, the old and young, men and women, the rich and poor, landlords and peasants, and a number of students from schools and colleges. In short, people of every walk of life participated in the freedom struggle, sacrificing their lives, their properties, and even their families. We should respect, worship, and enjoy the activities by way of celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, offering our humble tribute to the martyrs and fighters of our independence struggle. With this, I welcome one and all for this auspicious occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to be inaugurated by our beloved Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I request Shri Muttamashetty Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister for Tourism, Culture and Youth Advancement, Government of Andhra Pradesh, to address the gathering.
సభకు నమస్కారం. మొట్టమొదటిగా ఈ యూనివర్సిటీకి వచ్చినటువంటి హానరబుల్ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా శ్రీ వెంకయ్య నాయుడు గారికి ఆన్ మై ఓన్ బిహాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ది గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ I convey my welcome sincerely from my bottom of the heart, sir. So give him a big applause to the sir. Because sir is having a lot of years association to the Visakhapatnam. Because he's a student, he's also a student from the Andhra University. And because of him, I have an opportunity to work with him as a member of parliament for 5 years. So because of him, we got so many institutions, not only for Visakhapatnam, for the whole Andhra Pradesh. So always our Andhra Pradesh people will remember you, sir, for your great contribution as a Union Minister of Government of India. And I also congratulate and compliment the Vice Chancellor Sri Surya Prakash Garu for taking the great initiation of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav by inviting our beloved Vice President of India for this August gathering. Congratulations, Surya Prakash Garu. Definitely, today, this day is one of the historical day in our university. And 5,000 samsthanas are a small kingdoms, and they fought for 100 years with the British emperors, and they brought the independence. But unfortunately, instead of uniting ourselves, year by year, day by day, we are dividing ourselves by in the name of caste, religion, region, creed, etc., etc. That's not a good sign, my dear young friends. Always, of course, in this country, so many heroes are there. But in my life, I always remember the Swami Vivekananda. Always Swamiji says, this land, a Punya Bhumi, Karma Bhumi, Veda Bhumi, always we should feel proud being an Indians. Because this is a country give the knowledge, culture, wisdom, research, technology, whatnot to the whole world. But today, everybody knows the position. I am not going to speak about the politics here, but being a citizens of this country, it is the responsibility of all of us. I request with the folded hands to all of you. Everybody says, because since you are law students, always the law students are lawyers at the judiciary. Everybody knows we have the 4 pillars for the democracy: legislation, executive, judiciary, and the media. So as a judiciary persons, you have a lot of responsibility in the society for the welfare of society, development of society, and to maintain the morals and ethics in the society. Of course, always what I feel, the person who is living, how many years he is living is not important. With how many values he is living, and what is his contribution to the society, that is important. Best example is Swamiji Vivekananda. He lived for a short while, but physically, but as long as the Indian history is there, he is the real hero of this country. Always Swamiji also says about the youth, because what is the greatest resource of this country is human resources. Out of 130 crores population, we have more than 50% are youth. So that is a big asset of this country. So always Swamiji says, youth is the hope of the nation. You can do anything and everything. Nothing is impossible. Arise, awaken yourself. That's why, my dear young friends, I request all of you, this society, this country needs a lot of contribution, commitment, honesty, the persons who are in the judiciary field. Because you are the role model to other people in the society. So you have the highest responsibility on your shoulders to correct the system, to maintain the system, to maintain the decency and decorum of the system. So definitely you may be happy of spending your valuable time in your life, definitely in this university. So definitely this university will give the lot of motivation to all of you every time. So as a local people's representatives, we wish and we expect this university, both students and as well as faculty fraternity, should flourish day by day and year by year. For that, the local government, the local people's representatives, always our support will be there, PC Garu and other faculty members. So I wish you all the best, good luck. And once again, I convey my sincere thanks for giving me this opportunity to our beloved Vice President of India. So really, always, you are the person, sir. You are the role model to the present generation and future generation, not only as a politician, as an administrator, and as a patriotic person. So all round, you are the Bharatamata Muddupettu sir, frankly cheppalante. So definitely your presence gives a lot of positive vibrations to the young minds. Thank you one and all for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. I request Professor Dr. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, DSNLU, to felicitate His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, DSNLU, to felicitate Shri Muttama Shetty Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister for Tourism, Culture and Youth Advancement, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Thank you, sir. On the occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I request His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India, to unveil the book titled as Remember, Martyrs of Indian Freedom Struggle, compiled by Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University. This is a compilation of freedom fighters who sacrificed themselves for freedom. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Dr. S. Surya Prakash Garu, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University, to introduce His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India. Okay. Thank you, sir. I request our chief guest, His Excellency Shri Muppavarupu Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India, to address the gathering.
Sri Muttama Shetty Srinivas Rao Garu, Honorable Minister, Government of Andhra Pradesh, Professor S. Surya Prakash Garu, Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Madhusudan Rao Garu, Registrar, and local MLA, Sri Annam Reddy Ajipraj, professors, other functionaries working in this university, my dear students, and the staff. It gives me immense pleasure to participate in the inauguration of Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav celebrations today. I am told that this university is celebrating the centenary of Sri Damodaram Sanjeevaya Garu, a lawyer, a freedom fighter, and the first Dalit Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh in India. Incidentally, he was the youngest Chief Minister at that time. He also served as Minister for Labour in this Jawaharlal Nehru's cabinet. Sri Sanjay Vayaji is remembered for his honesty, integrity and commitment to serving the nation selflessly. It is an honor that this university is named after such a great son of this great country. It is doubly auspicious for the university that you are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav and Sri Damodaram Sanjivaya centenary celebrations at the same time. Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav marks the 75 years of our Indian independence. It is not only a time for celebration, but also an occasion to recall the struggles and sacrifice of all the celebrated and unsung heroes of our freedom struggle and to pay tribute to them. As you know, we have a wonderful living document, Constitution of India, which guarantees our fundamental rights enforceable through courts. It is not only important to remember the fundamental rights, it is equally important, more important in the present context, to be conscious of the fundamental duties cast upon the people. Under Part 4A of the Constitution of India, Article 51A speaks about fundamental duties. I suggest to all the students, for that matter to all the people's representatives, and also people who are working in various walks of public life, to study, remember and practice fundamental duties. You cannot have a right without a duty. If everybody does follow the fundamental duties, then rights are assured. The violation of rights is happening because people are not sincerely performing their responsibility of performing their duties. This is an important thing that has to be remembered. The article says, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions. The national flag and the national anthem, Constitution, national flag and national anthem. To cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our freedom struggle. So it is not only a moral obligation, but a constitutional duty to cherish, follow the ideas that inspired our freedom struggle. I am happy that the university, the Vice Chancellor, have brought in a publication and got it released by me about our great freedom fighters. We should tell our youngster, the new generation, of the sacrifices made, the struggles foregone by thousands of countless freedom fighters across the country. Most of them are unsung because their history is not known to the people. Few people, their history is prominently published and spoken. It is time that the country as a whole, all the institutions, educational syllabus, political parties and governments, local, district, state and central government focus their attention on highlighting the sacrifice made by great sons of this great country to liberate this country. Not only that, the history, our syllabus, our textbooks must carry the life and teachings of these great people, the reformers who have reformed not only the freedom fighters but also the reformers, such as Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Kandukuri Veerasingam Pantulu, Gurujada Apparao. I am in this area. That's why I am mentioning the names. And the great Alluri Sita Ramaraju, the great son of this great area. Their life, their teachings, their sacrifices should be highlighted so that the younger generation is inspired. This is what I want to say. One is first, follow the duties cast upon you, every citizen. What is Desha Bhakti? What is patriotism? Performing your duty is patriotism according to me. Desha Bhakti ante emiti? ఎవరి పని వాళ్ళు చేయడము. ఎవరి పని వాళ్ళు చేస్తే దేశం సుభిక్షంగా ఉంటుంది, దేశం ముందుకు వెళుతుంది, అండ్ దేశ ప్రజలందరూ సురక్షితంగా సుఖంగా సంతోషంగా ఉంటారు. हर एक नागरिक अपना काम अपना कर्तव्य निभाना है, ये बहुत जरूरी है. This is very important for everyone. On this occasion of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, I urge upon the people to follow their duties, to know their leaders, to know the history of this great country. Unfortunately, because of advent of colonial rule, the Britishers have ruled us, ruined us, looted us, cheated us, and ruined our minds also, some of our minds. So if they are great, and we don't know the greatness of our people, we were taught such history, Robert Clive the Great, what about Adur Sitaramarazu, what about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, what about the other great stalwarts? Their history, their life and their teachings and preachings were not given prominence. That is the reason for the younger generation to be misleaded. So one has to understand this. And also we must all commit ourselves, not because the Constitution says, otherwise also for the unity and integrity of the nation. Irrespective of caste, creed, sex, religion and region, we are one. We are Indians. अलग भाषा अलग वेश फिर भी अपना एक देश, विविधता में एकता भारत का विशेषता. वेशम भाषा वेरेना मनमंता भारतीयुलम. This has to be remembered. It is meaningless, it is absurd to fight in the name of the caste among ourselves, differentiate people forward and backward. There is a constitutional protection which was necessitated because of suppression by certain sections. They has to be well protected. But at the same time, we must remember that we are Indians. We are equal citizens, whether you are forward or backward. Whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu, you are all equal partners in the development of this country. You are all equal citizens. No law, no person, no organization should discriminate people on the basis of religion, region, caste. That's why I suggest everywhere, I am repeating it for the sake of youngsters, for the sake of the people. People must elect their leaders based on 4 C's: character, caliber, capacity and conduct. But unfortunately, some fellows who do not have those qualities, they are replacing it by other 4 C's. What are the other 4 C's? Caste, community, cash, and criminality. This is an unfortunate state of affairs. So we must see to it that we go back to the value system. That's why I want the life of the great people to be told to our younger generation. The ultimate goal of the freedom struggle was to secure justice to the people. Not only from the oppressive rule, but also end discrimination. So we have to dedicate ourselves to see that we make the life of the people happy. The leaders, the lawmakers, the lawyers, everybody should work for the happiness of the people. Not only creating wealth, wealth alone is not sufficient. Taking care of the health, taking care of the education, taking care of the fundamental needs, providing access to justice to everybody, providing safety and security to individuals, their liberty, their expression, providing basic amenities like shelter, clothing, food, providing transport to every village, providing water to every person, providing transportation, providing road, providing electricity, providing affordable education, providing affordable health. These are the fundamental duties of any government and any civilized person. But unfortunately, I have been telling, people are taking to short term, make people happy. What is important is development and welfare. Development and welfare must go hand in hand. We must take care of the poorest of the poor. Gandhiji said, Dr. Ambedkar said, Antyodaya, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya has expounded that cause. Antyodaya, uplifting the poorest of the poor, जो अंतिम पंक्ति में बैठे उनका उत्थान पहले होना चाहिए. ये बहुत जरूरी है. Now, because of politics, I don't want to criticize any party. I don't belong to any party, but people are resorting to populism. Populism. Populism is not going to help the country in its development. As I told you, the basic needs of the people. After 75 years of independence, there are so many things we have achieved. Successive governments, this government, earlier government, previous governments, they all have done their best according to their ability. And we made progress. India is recognized and respected worldwide, but there are gaps. There is poverty, 25% of the people. There is illiteracy, 22% of the people. There is gender discrimination. There is no adequate representation of women in parliament, in assemblies, in panchayat raj. Of course, now at least 33% are coming in the panchayat raj. They are not given equal right to property. Why? Discrimination should end. And they should also end social discrimination. These are important things that has to be remembered, protected by all people. Justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. This is the democratic republic. And to secure all the citizens these things is the duty of all, the lawyers, the people who take to the profession. They should focus on this. They should really defend the people who needs to be defended, not the other offenders. Sometimes I wonder, I am also a law student, though I did not have the occasion to practice because immediately after I completed my law in the university, I was put inside the jail for 17.5 months for no fault of mine. So my urge inside to defend not only safety and security, but also freedom of expression has got further strengthened. We should see to it that no government, nobody is able to defy the Constitution and then take away the liberties, justice from the people. That should be our aim. The legal fraternity should focus on the suppressed people, oppressed people, people who have been discriminated, the poor, they have to be given the legal aid. I am not saying that everything can be given free, but have sort of a consideration for those sections. That should be the part of your profession when you become lawyers. And legal fraternity should be in the forefront. The students must be trained to become the change agents and bring about transformation. The Prime Minister gave a 3-line advice: reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation. Transformation in every walk of life. In everybody's thinking, in their attitude. There has to be transformation. World is changing faster, moving faster. We cannot lag behind. Once upon a time we were known as Viswa Guru. ప్రపంచానికే గురువుగా భారతదేశం ఒకప్పుడు గుర్తించబడింది, ప్రపంచం చేత కీర్తించబడింది. విదేశీ పాలన వలన మనము కొంత ఆత్మవిశ్వాసాన్ని కోల్పోయాం, ప్రగతి పదంలో వెనకబడ్డాం. ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళా తిరిగి అవకాశం వచ్చింది. ఈ అవకాశాన్ని మనం సద్వినియోగపరచుకోవాలి. On the occasion of the 75 years of Azadi Ka Amrita Mahotsav, let us have an understanding of what we have achieved. What is our aim? What are our objectives? Are we fulfilling them? What are the gaps? It is the duty of everybody in the system to see that justice and entitlements of the people reach them directly, without dilution, without deviation. This is very important. But many of these schemes have come in that regard. Direct benefit transfer, no need to stand in a queue, no need to wait for your pension, no need to wait for your scholarship, no need to many things. If this delay can be avoided, then poor people think that is the real freedom to them. That is the real freedom to them. So delivery mechanism. I got up on the IAS officers the other day. I was addressing the Indian Institute of Public Administration. The focus of the administration should be on avoiding delay, diversion, dilution, and reaching out the people directly. It should go into their account. Why should one go around the collector office? Tahsil office? Why should one go behind MRO? For each and everything, people should go to them. Officers should go to them. We must see to it that the system, the legal fraternity should be in the forefront to enforce such a system. It's a fundamental assured once the government passes a law in parliament, in assembly, that is to be delivered. And if it is not delivered, the legal fraternity should get into action. My dear friends, youngsters, while fully leveraging alternative dispute redressal mechanism, there is a need to avoid frequent adjournment of cases. I wonder how many adjournments are given? How much time is being taken for settling the cases? Civil cases, 22 years, 25 years, reaching the Supreme Court, High Court, every time adjournment. I feel that the time has come and we should see to it in future. There should not be more than second adjournment at all. If that is possible, only if the legal fraternity is committed. The judiciary is committed. The people, all of this work. How can you go on hearing a case, hearing, adjourning, in between retiring, and people getting tired? You are retired and people are tired. But still, solution is not found. Really, I am telling you, people are getting tired. Then they will become disillusioned. They will get disgusted. So it is the duty of the legal fraternity to see that delays are avoided. Judicial vacancies are filled up. Infrastructure is created for the institutions, for the courts and other bodies. That is the focus. That should be the focus of central and state government. And then it is cast upon the duty of every judge must be evaluated about his performance, how many judgments he has given, how many days he has taken to deliver the judgment. Every advocate has to be performed, how many less adjournments he has taken. Less adjournment he has taken. How he has really contributed for the speedy justice. These should be the evaluation methods. New thinking has to come in that direction. New thinking has to become an advocate general, an attorney general, or a solicitor general, or a government pleader should be appointed on such a basis on his performance, on his really adhering to the spirit of the Constitution. We are an ancient civilization. Our forefathers have lived for long and they have set such standards, values, culture, ethics. These are all equally important. Along with the law, respect the civilization, respect the culture, respect your traditions. Then the country's name and fame will further go up. We are oldest civilization, as I was telling you, Egypt, Greece, Athens, Roman, they are also. But where are they today? Whereas India is now being recognized, respected everywhere. Because this land, this water, this air has something special. There is a talent among these. See, multinational companies, many of them are led by Indians. Why? There is a talent. This talent has to be recognized, has to be respected, has to be promoted. Talent has to be promoted. That's the duty of the people in the system. Should not be suppressed at all. Talent should not be suppressed at all. If you encourage talent, then you will get best out of the system. That is what our forefathers have told us. Friends, the British traders started their business in a modest way with the way the imperial firman of the Emperor Jahangir authorizing the East Indian Company to open depots north of Bombay. In the next 200 years, they colonized India. If you lose your conscience, if you lose your unity, if you quarrel on silly things, if you do not really protect and practice patriotism, there is a danger. Again, one has to understand this. We are a mighty nation. We don't want to conquer any country. We never ruled any country. Small, at that time, Dick and Harry came and ruled us, ruined us. But we never, because we don't believe in that. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Vasudaika Kutumbakam. That is our motto. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Everybody should do something to help the other. To help the other. You must have that attitude. The youth should be in the forefront of the change, as Minister was so impressed by Minister's speech today. Motivation in his own way. And then drawing inspiration from Swami Vivekananda. Youth must look forward. Do not look backward and become awkward. Someone told me students are divided on the basis of north, south, this, that and all. Today, after 75 years, should we quarrel on these issues? There are some institutions here and there, people quarreling on food festival. Some people getting into quarrel into other small things, and then creating national news, saying that it is a liberty. What is liberty? What is liberty? Is this the way to use the liberty? Huh? What are the signals we are sending? This has to be understood by the youth. They are the agents of change. They should be in the forefront to fight against injustice, fight against poverty, fight against illiteracy, fight against discrimination. They should not get into these small things. And only a handful of people, but a handful of people is sufficient. Nowadays, media has become more sensational. If you become sensational, you will become senseless. Your sense will become less. Because you want sensation. Headline. I tell my media friends, your headline is not going to be deadline for me. I have my own line. Media also should focus more on constructive attitude. Should focus on unity. Should focus on social responsibility. Should focus on creating awareness among the people. Swachh Bharat, for example. Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. These are all people's movements. Now even Tikakaran. Having a vaccine is the duty of everybody. It's really unfortunate. Even today, 50% have not taken vaccination. As if they are taking vaccination for the sake of Modi and Jagan Mohan Reddy. What is this? What is happening? Because of ignorance, because of being misled. It's not because of lack of access. Everywhere, whoever is asking for vaccination, they'll get free vaccination, because protection. So people should be educated. That's a part of the duty of the politicians, duty of the media, to highlight. My dear friends, the Jallianwala Bagh massacre and also the other struggles during the freedom movement, all should be told to our youngsters. Gandhiji's non-violence against British oppressors. Finally, we succeeded and we have shown the way. Because we must build a peaceful world. Peaceful world, that should be our objective. First, for that, peaceful family, peaceful political system, peaceful state, peaceful country. Because peace is the prerequisite for progress. If there is tension, you cannot pay attention and have the retention. So we must believe in peace and we must all work for peace and we must move on peaceful methods. In democracy, you can achieve anything through peacefully. Even powerful, mighty rulers who think that have been replaced to our Indian electoral system, democracy. Silently, without being violently, you can remove anybody simply. Go to the ballot, stamp your vote. I am not talking about the other going and stamping. Nowadays that's not possible because EVMs have come. So this change is possible through democratic means, through non-violent means. So on the occasion of the 75 years of independence, these are some of the thoughts I just placed before you. I shared with you. On one side, great achievements. On the other side, there are serious challenges. These two things has to be weighed. Till you achieve total eradication of poverty, illiteracy, you cannot call yourself as a great country. So that is possible when the youth comes forward and then move forward. You must have passion for the nation. Passion. Not fashion. Passion. And whatever profession you take, you must do it with passion for the sake of the nation. This is a service. Legal system also is service. Service to the people. Medical system, service. Education is a service. Politics is a service. We should take it as a passion and take it as a mission. Do not allow any omission or give any remission or wait for commission, but work for the nation with passion. Then the nation will move forward. I'm very happy to have come here to this prestigious university, National Law University here, in this remote Sabavaram. These are all gifts given by us, by our leaders, by our systems, Government of India, Government of the state. And then we must see to it these institutions are built strongly, made more popular by effective teaching. Popular not through advertisement, teaching. The work speaks. Kaam bolta hai. So one has to focus on academic standards. I hope that the university is following it. And I hope that you youngsters who are all educated in this university will live up to the expectations of the people and then move forward. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with a remarkable speech. I request Professor Dr. K. Madhusudan Rao Garu, Honorable Registrar in Charge, DSNLU, to propose vote of thanks.
Words of thanks, no vote.
Votes of...
Vote divide.
Sorry. To propose votes of thanks. Sorry, sir.
Good morning to all of you. His Excellency Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Honorable Vice President of India,
No Excellency, Honorable Vice President.
Sri Muttamsetti Srinivasa Rao Garu, Honorable Minister, Government of Andhra Pradesh, our beloved Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Surya Prakash Rao. Good morning to all of you. I deem it my privilege to express words of thanks on this occasion on behalf of Damodaram Sanjeevaya National Law University. At the outset, I express my deep sense of gratitude to His Excellency Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu, the Honorable Vice President of India, for accepting our invitation as Chief Guest for today's function and for being with us on this occasion. I profusely thank our Honorable Chancellor of DSNLU and the Chief Justice of High Court of Andhra Pradesh, Honorable Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, for permitting us to celebrate Azika Amrit Mahotsav in our university campus. I am thankful to Muttamsetti Srinivasa Rao Garu, Minister for Tourism and Culture, Government of Andhra Pradesh, for accepting our invitation and for being with us on this occasion. My heartfelt thanks goes to the Secretariat staff of the Honorable Vice President of India, more specifically Sri D. Prashant Kumar Reddy, IAS, Private Secretary to the Honorable Vice President, for their constant cooperation with and support with us in celebrating this event. We invited many number of political dignitaries. I am thankful to all of them for attending this meeting. More specifically, Adeep Raj Garu, MLA, and Subhadraji, ZP chairperson, etc. And I am also thankful to the teaching and non-teaching staff of DSNLU for making this function a grand success. It is my pleasure to thank the collector and the district collector, the district magistrate, and other revenue officials of Visakhapatnam district, and the superintendent of police, Vizag Rural, intelligence and other police officers, and officers of the fire service department for their constant cooperation in making this function a grand success. Finally, I am thankful to the press and electronic media for gracing this occasion and for the wide coverage of this event. I am also thankful to all others who directly or indirectly cooperated with us in organizing these celebrations. Thank you one and all.
I request everyone to stand for the national anthem. I request all the faculty members to gather near the dais for a group photograph.